If there is something that is clear from the Holy Scriptures, is that heaven is made of a team, and the leader of the team is God, and every member of the team was created by God. Some of the members of the heavens team are the 24 elders, the 4 living creatures, the 7 spirits of the Lord, and saints like Mother Mary, Saint Joseph, and all other saints that have been canonized by the Catholic Church. Now, angels are a very crucial part of the heavens team because they perform so many roles assigned to them by the Lord. And some of the key roles that they perform are: number 1 is that angels praise and worship God. I believe that this is the biggest role of angels because everything and everyone that the Lord created, He created them to worship Him. And we can read from the book of Revelation chapter 7 verse 11 to 12 that John saw a vision of angels standing around the throne of God and around the 24 elders and also around the 4 living creatures, and they were falling down and bowing their heads, and the praise and worship didn't seem to stop. The second role of angels is that angels are God's messengers. In the Bible, when God had a message that He needed to communicate to His people, He would use angels, or sometimes He will come by Himself. And a good example where God used angels to send a message to a human being is when He used Angel Gabriel to go and announce the birth of Jesus Christ to Mother Mary. The third role of angels is that angels act as God's protectors or guardians. And there's so many examples in the Bible where we see angels protecting the Lord's people. And a good example is in the book of Daniel chapter 6 verse 22, where the scripture tells us that the Lord sent His angel to the lion's den, who shut the lion's mouth and prevented them from devouring Daniel. And another good example of this is in the book of Daniel chapter 3, where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were protected by the Lord's angel from being burnt in the fire furnace. And the fourth role of angel is that angels are God's warriors. And if we speak of God's warriors, we think of Saint Michael the Archangel. Now, Michael is God's archangel, which means the principal angel. And he is frequently referred to in the scriptures as the principal prince of the heavenlies. Saint Michael is not just an ordinary angel, but he's a very powerful angel. I'll give you some of the reasons as to why you need to have a devotion to Saint Michael the Archangel. Now, the first reason is that Saint Michael is the angel of war, and he contends with Satan, who is the cause of all our problems. I'm saying that the devil is the cause of all our problems because Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12 tells us that we do not fight against flesh and blood, but we fight against spiritual evils in the spiritual realm. And if you read also in the book of Job chapter 1, you will learn that the devil was the cause of all Job's problem. This is because the devil was trying to prove to the Lord that Job was devoted to him because of all the blessings that he had blessed him with. And so we see that the devil threw at Job's sicknesses. He made him lose all his wealth. He made his wife curse him. He made his children die. And these are some of the problems that the current Christians are facing. The scripture tells us that Saint Michael is the angel of war and he contends against Satan and his angels. This is because in the book of Revelation chapter 12 verse 7 to 9 we read, "Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him." This is a vision of what will happen at the end of times. And if Saint Michael will be the one waging war against the devil and his angels and destroying their kingdom, it means that even now, He's able to fight all our spiritual warfares, and He's very effective in helping us win the battles. That is why each and every Christian needs to have a devotion to Saint Michael the Archangel. The second reason as to why you should have a devotion to Saint Michael the Archangel is that Saint Michael the Archangel will help you receive answers of your prayers from the Lord in a timely manner. Let's see what the book of Daniel chapter 10 verse 12 to 14 tells us. Then he continued, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the principal of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, because I was detained there with the king of Persia. And now I have come to explain to you what will happen to you people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come." So at the beginning of this chapter, we read that Daniel had a vision about a great war that was going to befall his people, but he had not quite understood the vision. And so he was so troubled, and he decided to humble himself before the Lord by praying and fasting, so that to gain understanding of the vision. And so the scripture tells us that from the very first day that Daniel prayed, the Lord released an angel with Daniel's answer. But what happened is that the angel could not deliver the answer to Daniel in time. And in time here means on the first day that the answer was released, because the devil had detained him. And so it took the help of Saint Michael to break loose the angel who had been sent by God, thus ensuring that the answer gets to Daniel within 21 days. Now, I know some of you have prayer intentions that they have been praying for a very long time, maybe weeks, maybe months, or maybe years, and you feel like maybe the Lord doesn't want to answer your prayers. Have you ever thought that maybe the Lord already sent the answer to you from the very first day you knelt down to pray about that intention, but the forces of evil are preventing the prayers from getting to you? It's possible that that could be the reason, and so that's why you need to make Saint Michael the Archangel your friend, so that he may be able to release the angel with your answers to you. Because remember, he did it in Daniel's case, and he can also do the same for you. I will share a testimony with you of how Saint Michael the Archangel helped me with a prayer intention that I had been praying for a very long time. So I always wanted to work in a hospital, and there is this specific hospital that I was so interested in, and I decided to make the application to the hospital, and I kept on applying, but I couldn't receive an answer from the HR team. And so I had applied for so many months, and I kept praying about the intention. And while I was praying, God reminded me of Daniel chapter 10 from verse 12 to 14, and he reminded me of how Saint Michael the Archangel came and helped the angel to deliver the message to Daniel. And so the Lord inspired me to pray the chaplet of Saint Michael the Archangel for 9 days with the intention of getting a job at this particular hospital. And so I prayed the chaplet of Saint Michael the Archangel for 9 days, and on the last day, I received an email from HR inviting me for an interview. I went through the interview, and to cut the long story short, I got a job. So maybe if I didn't pray the chaplet of Saint Michael the Archangel with this intention, I wouldn't have gotten a job at the hospital. So my point is, if you have any prayer intentions that you've been praying for a very long time and you feel like you're not receiving the answer to them, try asking Saint Michael the Archangel to help you and see what happens. And the third reason as to why you should have a devotion to Saint Michael the Archangel is that Saint Michael the Archangel is one of the 7 angels who stands before the Lord. The beginning of Revelation chapter 12 verse 7, a verse we've already visited, the scripture says, Then war broke out of heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon. Now the war was in heaven, and this means that Saint Michael is in heaven. And this means that he's obedient to God, because the angels that were not obedient to God, the Lord did not allow them to stand in their presence. That's why he sent Lucifer away to the earth, and that is why he's our accuser now. You need to have a friend who stands before the presence of the Lord to fight all your battles, because the power that he uses is not his own power, but he uses the power of the Lord. And there are 2 Bible scriptures that prove that Saint Michael uses the power of the Lord to fight all his evil. And the first scripture is from Revelation chapter 12 verse 17. The scripture says, "They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." In this context, they refers to Saint Michael and his angels. And over him refers to the devil. So now, how did Saint Michael and his angel win over the devil? By the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. You see, they did not use their own blood. They used the blood of the Lamb, and we know that the Lamb is the Lord. And the second scripture also is in the book of Jude chapter 1 verse 9. This is what the verse says. "But when the Archangel Michael, contending with the devil, was disputing about the body of Moses, he did not presume to pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, 'The Lord rebuke you.'" This means that Saint Michael recognizes that God is the highest power and there is no other power or anyone who is supreme than him. And so in everything that he does, he has to use the power of the Lord. There are different ways that one can have a devotion to Saint Michael, and one has to choose which one is convenient to them so that they can have the devotion daily. The first way is the chaplet of Saint Michael the Archangel, and it is referred to as the Rosary of Angels. The chaplet was revealed privately to Antonia do Astanaco, who was a Portuguese Carmelite nun. Praying the chaplet is said to provide the assistance of Saint Michael the Archangel and the company of one angel from each of the celestial choirs when approaching the Holy Eucharist. Saint Michael also promised continuous assistance and that of the holy angels during the life of those who will be praying the chaplet daily. Praying the chaplet is believed to gradually defeat the demons and grant a pure heart, thus delivering from purgatory. And the blessings from the chaplet are meant to extend to the direct family members of those praying the chaplets. You can also say the prayer of Saint Michael the Archangel, which is a short prayer that lasts for only 2 minutes, and you can always find it on this channel or on the internet. The prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel should be said daily if it's possible. And if you are a novena lover, the third way to have a devotion to Saint Michael is to pray the novena of Saint Michael the Archangel. Novena normally starts on 20th of September each year and ends on 29th of September, but you can also choose to pray it daily. And last but not least, if you are a person that enjoys the meditation that comes with litanies, the Litany of Saint Michael the Archangel is a great way of having a devotion to Saint Michael, and you can say this litany every day. I'm going to link the chaplet of Saint Michael, the prayer to Saint Michael, and the Litany of Saint Michael in the description below. Please feel free to click on them and pray along.